The Bradshaw Chronicles music and talk radio, where over 500,000 people tune in every month for the best music and talk radio with host Christy Bradshaw and Bryan Lee Whatley. You'll find us on WROM Radio, realmsofmusic.com, as well as worldtv.com/The Bradshaw Chronicles and GTN at worldtv.com/Ghost Tales TV. And now, Bryan Lee Whatley's Friday edition of the Bradshaw Chronicles.
Welcome to the Friday edition. I am your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. Tonight's special guest is the band League of Liars. Two members from the band joining us are Micheal Fairchild and Sppike Muellenberg. Unified in the desire to provide the most believable and sweetest smelling contradictions known to humankind, these musicians plot sonic assaults with precision. They are blending blues, funk, folk, rock, and pop genres in the creation of a super sweet and fun outcome that just can't be ignored. This sonic potion has garnered the boys much acclaim, from local music shows on live air to winning the 2011 San Diego County Fair's People's Choice Awards. I believe their next stop is #1 on the record list and taking the VMAs. If you don't believe me, like they say, ask your ass why it's moving when you hear our tunes. Our musical guest tonight is, of course, League of Liars. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the Friday edition. How are you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic, sir.
Exceptional.
Your music is phenomenal. I've been listening to it all day. I've kind of, got my foot tapping to the different tunes that you guys play. But for our fans and your guys' fans out there, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and the band and kind of how you guys come together?
League of Liars came together as a result of the previous project that I was in called Not Anymore that came apart like many bands do due to various reasons. Of course, it wasn't like anybody was beating anybody up or murdering anybody, but the band came apart, and myself and Dave Hamilton, our guitar player, we made a decision to continue to play. And so, thanks to that wonderful website called Craigslist, which everybody
Nice.
gets to, look for each other on, I found Micheal Fairchild.
And I had just moved to the San Diego area after doing stints in Madison, Wisconsin, and Juneau, Alaska, and around everywhere in between, playing in bands myself, and kind of got to town, started looking for people to play with, and hooked up with Mike and Dave, and it ended up being really kind of groovy. And a really cool twist, the really cool thing, is that after about 2 months of playing together, we were still kind of looking for a permanent drummer. And by sheer fluke, I discovered that Rich Potts, a good friend of mine who I hadn't seen since high school, we actually had our first band together in high school. He played drums, and he happened just to live about 45 minutes north of where we live. And so he came down for rehearsal, loved it, we loved him. It felt like high school again, and we just started playing together, and it started working out really well.
That's pretty cool. And where are you guys currently located right now?
We're based in North County, San Diego, in the town of Vista. That's where myself and Dave live. Michael's right on the border of Oceanside Vista, which is a neighboring town. And then Rich lives in Temecula, which is just in the very next county. And Tim, our second drummer, which we do have two drummers in the band, Tim Dowd, he lives in San Marcos, which is right next to Vista. So Vista is what we call our target central area.
I've had a chance to go to San Diego before, and the bar scene there was pretty happening. Do you guys play a lot of different gigs around there? It's just the music scene in general for that part of California always seems to be pretty hot. Do you guys think the same way?
Yeah, definitely. It's wonderful to have to be in an area where there's so much live local music. not to disparage any of our predecessors who have gained the kind of success that we hope to seek, but paying $60 and $80 for a concert ticket these days is real difficult, especially considering how many really talented musicians there are that you can go see for $5 or $10.
That's a good point. God, I can't even. You mentioned concert tickets. I can't even remember one of the last times I actually been to a concert, and I used to love going to them. And I think even back then, way back then, it was around $10 or $15 for a concert ticket. But you're right. Nowadays, it's actually $60 to $80 for them.
Yeah,
so.
It's like you can sell your first child and go to 2 concerts.
Yeah, really. I've got one lung. How many of them do I actually need? I know I've got 2. How many do I actually need? Can I get by with one?
I can breathe like Vader. It's got a little machine installed.
Yeah, as long as I can tap my foot and kind of move around a little bit, hear some tunes. So, how do you guys describe your music?
That seems to be
the $1 million question. Yeah.
Nice.
We've had people compare us to everything from the Chili Peppers, which makes Michael cringe, and to...
I'm just not a fan of Anthony Kiedis. What can I say? I'm sorry.
To Cake.
Give it away now.
Primus, to Paul Simon, what's interesting is that each of the members, their strongest influences come from a full range of genres. Dave, our guitar player, his greatest influences are probably more based in the funk realm and the blues realm, whereas myself, I'm like an 80s heavy metal spandex and Aquanet and
cool.
punk rock freak.
Yep. Horns up.
Punk rockers ever wore spandex, did they?
Well, after the heavy metal part, okay?
Yeah, after the heavy
metal. They jumped ship.
Changed horses midstream.
And then Michael's a singer-songwriter influenced heavily by guys like Pete Seeger and Paul Simon, and he'll tell you the rest of that.
Tom Waits, I like Tom, Paul Simon. Yeah, pretty much like a really big kind of a. I got really heavy into Metallica for a little while. I was young. It won't really happen again. Did you hear the last album? It was kind of crap.
Well, Metallica's last album?
Yeah, Death Magnetic. Just really, I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
The Black Album kind of killed it for me.
Yeah, and I do like Metallica, but I agree with you on that last one. It kind of bombed.
So, Michael, how would you describe Rich Potts' drumming? I mean, he's kind of like a real.
He comes from like a really kind of like almost like a Steely Dan kind of like
a jazz,
like an R&B kind of like a And Tim's very kind of like a classic rock and roll drummer.
Right. So the whole feel of everything comes out like with this really like kind of hard to identify. Like,
well, I think because everybody moves to the next person. Like, no one really makes anybody come to them all the way. I mean, like, so you get like the funk being kind of like pulled in the direction of this Paul Simon songwriting, getting pulled into the direction of like the Chili Peppers bass line, being pulled in the direction of like a Steely Dan groove. I mean, like it's kind of, it all kind of like smeared, like all the colors kind of smear together and become like this kind of wonderful sunset.
Kind of like throwing vodka in a margarita blender.
No.
That really...
Sunsets and vodka margaritas. Man.
Oh. Well, I mean, I try it, but I don't know. It doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, throwing some Jaeger shots and man. Oh my goodness. Now, there's something very unique about your band in terms of the different types of instruments that you have and the amount of each instrument about it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we are currently rolling with 2 drummers. We are a dual drummer band, and that basically came about from Rich got into a car accident a while ago, about like 3 months ago? 4 months ago, and was out of the picture for about 3 months. He like cracked some ribs and actually like fractured his L1 or 2 or nothing that needed surgery, but like it like laid him up. So we had some prior commitments, and so Tim stepped in, thankfully, and like totally like rocked the world.
Tim's an exceptional drummer. He picked it up really quick.
Really quick. Only
We were
took a couple
involved
rehearsals.
at the time
Nice.
in the San Diego County Fair's Music Palooza Battle of the Band competition, and we're really excited about getting selected to be 15 out of hundreds of submissions for this competition. And within Tim is such a good musician that we practiced 3 times and made it to the preliminary. We did the preliminaries and made it to the semifinals. He was that quick.
After 3 rehearsals, so.
After 3 rehearsals, he picked it up that quick.
Yeah, and so
Holy
after
cow.
Rich came back, we had some discussion, and everybody kind of got together and talked a little bit. And it was a really strong feeling that we really needed to include this person that put so much into helping us get there, and figure a way if it would work. And so we experimented with it, and it
Turned out to really rock.
Yeah, it works really well. And the personalities involved are so humble. It's not like these 2 drummers that are trying to beat each other off the
Right,
stage.
battling drummers, right?
Yeah, it's just everybody. That's another element of our band that I think is important to talk about, is that we all really try hard to work together. Like, even if there's like a little spat because somebody looked at each other wrong, we make a point of talking about what's up, and trying to keep this, pardon the kind of cliche or funkiness of this, but to keep our heart as a band beating.
Right.
That is cliche, but it's very poetic. I like it.
Yeah, it is kind of cliche is poetic. Yeah. Now, when you have different instruments in a band, it's common to have like 2 guitarists. Sometimes you have a lead and sometimes you have a backup, and they'll switch depending on the songs and stuff like that. And maybe 1 bass or even a couple of different singers. But having 2 drum sets is very, very uncommon. And so the fact that you guys can roll with that, and the way it sounds from the music side of it, I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. I mean, I got to give you guys props for that, because not too many bands, I don't think I've ever heard another band that actually rolls with 2 drum sets, unless one's a normal drum set and the other's like an electronic rhythm set. So the fact
That's
that
a pretty good idea. I think we'll probably steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's mainly kind of an issue of like the more instruments that you put into the mix, then the less that you can really play. And
right.
Just like for sake of density, because if everybody's like if everyone's playing all the time, then no one gets really hurt at all.
Right.
And so it's like what I really dig about this band is that we're really mature about our songwriting and the decision makings that go into the songwriting, and the arrangements that we come up with are they're like structured enough to like provide a good skeleton in terms of like the how things should go, but like what we end up like playing is like it allows like enough freedom to kind of like mix up your individual part from night to night, and like not. You still have that little kind of pocket to work in. You're like, that's your space.
One of the best descriptions, Brian, I've ever heard that would probably identify what we're doing really well was by John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin. I saw an interview.
Nice.
He talked about he's seen and been involved with so many different bands over his career that, one of the things that he said was he would much rather be a player in a good band than a great player in some crappy band. And
Yep.
that's kind of the atmosphere and attitude that we try to have, is one of cooperation. We try to work with each other so the whole unit sounds good, instead of
Any one
5
person.
egos bouncing around a room trying to beat the other one to the punch.
Yeah. That's sweet. I like that. Who come up with the phrase, and this, I really like this, but I've been wanting to ask you, in terms of whenever somebody's listening to your music, it's ask your ass why it's moving when you hear our tunes. That freaking rocks.
Thank you.
That's all
was
Sppike.
a brain fart that came from me.
Dude, I think you need to get some t-shirts with that. Get some bumper stickers or something or another, because you need to market that.
Press right now.
That's a brilliant idea.
Like that. Now, I used to actually manage a bar when I was in college for several years. and I ran the entertainment scene for Mobile, and I used to get in contact with bands who would do national tours and travel all over the place, and I love the fact of original music bands coming through and playing their sound and playing their style. Now, you guys don't cover any cover bands or anything like that. Everything that you do is completely original in what you blend together, correct?
That would be true.
Yeah, I mean, I think we busted out with like the occasional like Beatles tune because really who hasn't?
Right.
But we usually do it with a certain smirk.
Oh yeah, it's never like it's more kind of like at the end of the night kind of like.
Yeah, when we're like, no, we're not ready to surrender the stage yet, thank you.
Yeah.
When those vodka margaritas kick in.
I'm sorry.
When the vodka margaritas kick in.
Yeah. Just like Mom used to make.
Oh yeah, your mom too, huh?
She's a very traditional lady.
Yeah.
Soggy corn chips.
Nice. Now, who writes most of the music, if you don't mind me asking that?
We take, actually, right now it's very a democratic process in terms of the writing. Most of the songs that we're playing with currently, a lot of them, not most of them, actually kind of like songs that have been introduced from the members' former projects, or things that were kind of done before, that were brought to the table to kind of like, and then fleshed out in kind of like new different ways. Kind of used as kind of like a jumping off point. And that's, we actually still write that way. I mean, the songs that we're writing, generally it's like one person will come in and like kind of like, but it's usually starts like a little germ, and everybody kind of like starts kind of building and adding and like a little bit like, a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that, and like so I mean, like, it's pretty evenly split, I guess, between like in terms of song, who writes like words and chords progressions. It's mainly like Mike, myself, and Dave, but that's just because we haven't given Rich and Tim guitars yet.
Pretty much. I mean, drums are the foundation, and certainly in our experiment here, they definitely are the foundation, as well as, as well as the I was going to say fertilizer, but I don't mean fertilizer, as well as the nutrition. For
the nutrition, nice.
I'll take fertilizer. That's okay.
For the most part, the stuff that we've done is people are, different members will present an idea, or like say a progression or a riff or a phrase will come out, and then we build around it. And
someone brings in the skeleton and says, "Hey, who got some flesh?"
Pretty much.
Yeah, cool.
And again, like Michael stated, the majority of our set right now, the majority of the bulk of our music is some pre-existing stuff that was brought in a very open-minded manner and said, "Here, guys, this is the way I used to play it. Do what you need to with it. Let's see what we as a group can make."
Dave, like the arrangements, especially like some of the songs I wrote, the song I wrote called "Molly Down the Hall." I don't think it's on the site yet, but that shifted, became a completely different song when when Tim joined up, when we started the 2-drummer approach, because it's we're really open with our arrangements, and we'll say okay, let's take this rock tune and we'll do it a really slow grind and blues, or let's take this song and we'll just amp it up and make it a little speed of it, and just kind of see where that takes us.
Yeah.
And kind of it's a very kind of experimental approach that it's
we like to say that we let the music form itself.
Bam.
Very cool.
Because rather than, things that are contrived and deliberately constructed feel that way. And I've long believed that anybody that can appreciate music is a musician themselves.
Yep.
They just have never, done the blood, sweat, and tears to learn how to play the instrument they like the most. But people that appreciate music can feel in their heart and in their ass, if you will.
That's going on the next T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, you said it started from a germ and it just grew from there. So I guess now we have a musical epidemic from you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And we fired every one of the cleaning ladies in our county. They're gone. We deported them to somewhere else in America. They're elsewhere, and the germ is growing.
That's pretty cool. Have you guys ever just got together and just said, you know what, we're just going to jam, and then all of a sudden, after the jam, you realize, holy cow, that's a song, and then you got to go back and figure out what did we just play, and try to get it in recording.
Started recording like every rehearsal. It's just because
it's kind of how we warm up. One of us will when oftentimes I'll be playing, like I can speak for me, like I'll be playing around the house when I'm not doing a whole lot, and I'm trying to maybe I've got some frustration or some other kind of mental distraction going on, and I'll sit down with my acoustic bass and play for a little bit, and I'll come up with some riff. And when we're warming up before a practice, most of the time, either Dave will throw something out, I'll throw something out, Micheal will throw something out, and we'll just kind of roll with it. And the drummers will pick up this groove, and we'll be standing there looking at each other, and next thing we know, 20 minutes have gone by.
Sweet. Now, there's when you're talking about you record everything nowadays, or for every time you get together and start playing, is it difficult to go back and really figure out in terms of the writing part of it, or you just guys say, hey, this was what it was, it's now the master overload in terms of tunage, and you leave it like it is? Or do you have a hard time going back? And some musicians I know, they're super picky, and they just have to have everything exactly right, and they wind up tweaking it so much that they lose the original jam session of what the song was.
I think that Bryan, primarily from my perspective, let's put it this way: the '80s were rough on me, and I used the recording more as a memory tool. And so when we are looking to write, I'll put that stuff on a disc. I do most of the recording on a DR2, a Tascam, and then I'll download it to my PC, chop it up with Audacity, and then I'll put it on a disc. And when we want to write something and we need some ideas, we'll just sit and listen to that stuff and then decide what we want to use.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So it's more of just like a time marker, or it's kind of like recording a little riff or a cliche or something like that we want to look into at a later time.
How much in terms of equipment do you guys, because you mentioned your computer and Audacity, and I love that piece of software, by the way. It's really good software for audio work. How much stuff do you guys do on a computer in terms of editing?
Michael's our producer in that regard.
I do the recordings that I gave you. I recorded on. I do most a Pro Tools rig on my MacBook. No, I pretty much I'm really limited in my knowledge of the different kinds of software. I'm pretty much into Pro Tools.
Okay.
And it's just an easier medium. I kind of come from a more kind of tape based system. Like most of my recording experience has been on tapes and stuff, and actually splicing tapes. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, so when I discovered DAWs, the digital audio workstations, I went a little nuts. I'm ooh, I can actually turn editing into a breeze, and I was just went kind of nuts. So and that's when I learned the production value of being able to dial it back a little bit, because everyone can add, but it's sometimes it's not everyone can kind of take it dial it down or take out.
Yeah, Audacity has a ton of different filters too that goes into that software, and so you can put all kinds of different sound effects in there. You can actually change the tones. You can add stuff. It's crazy in terms of how you can take music that's coming from the equipment versus music that's being generated by the computer.
See, I think that's one of the really, really cool things about this technology, in the fact that, like, it's basically put, like, such powerful recording and editing software into the hands of pretty much, like, everybody. It's like giving everybody their own private Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you to figure out, like, where to put the mics and how to, like, do everything, but, like, I think it's so encouraging to younger musicians or people that, like, maybe, like, want to become musicians, to give them, like, something to kind of, like, makes it easy to get a fire, get an album out. Anyone can have an album now.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, the only problem is now everybody has an album.
Talking about songs, I have a couple of songs that I actually like. Well, sorry, I like Are You Music, but I like to talk about one.
You actually do a surprise.
I mean, I like Are You Music, but the ones I like to talk about is the first one is California Goddamm. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What you put into it? What's kind of the meaning behind it?
Well, meaning. Let's talk about meaning. I think that meaning is a very subjective thing, and any kind of meaning in the song really, like, is more kind of derived from the experiencer rather than the artist. And you know, I think I mean, someone could say, like, you know, well, California Goddamm is about cornfields, and I really can't, like, you know, tell them, oh, no, that's not how I wrote it, because I don't know, I think that I don't really have control over the meaning.
I thought you just hated the Eagles.
No, I don't really follow basketball, man. Sorry.
Sweet.
So that being said, I guess, like, California Goddamm was, you know, I was, like, that actually a song I wrote, like, right before I got, like formed the project. We all hooked up, and I think I was just kind of, I like the word goddamn. I don't know, maybe I'm just really kind of, like, into blasphemy. But I just, and I was listening to a lot of Nina Simone.
Oh, nice. I like Nina. Yep.
And she had a song called Mississippi Goddamn, which actually was a really good, like, civil rights song, and, like, actually had meaning to it, I suppose.
Yeah, it was pretty deep.
But I don't live in Mississippi, so I thought, well, California, goddamn. And that's right. Like, I really like the way it can be. There's a duality to it. I mean, it could either be like a negative connotation, or it could be really, like, you know, California, goddamn. It could be a good thing. You know, it's like it's kind of, like, really kind of up to the listener to decide, you know, what's mood they're in that particular day as to how to interpret it.
Nice.
You're of the beholder, if you will.
So,
is your ass moving? What's your ass say? Have you consulted your ass lately?
Yeah, exactly. See, and I like that. I like that answer, because a lot of times music will mean something to one person and mean something completely different to another. And it's a lot of times me just getting the lyrics wrong. I think, you know, I have to go back and look up the lyrics a lot of times on a lot of music, because I'm singing them wrong during karaoke or whatever. And I go back through and I thought the song meant one thing, and somebody else tell me, they'll say, no, it actually means something else. And then somebody else will tell me, no, it means this. And so I always like to try to look up the history of the song, and, you know, what was the purpose of it being written, and, you know, who was it sung to? Was it, you know, the drummer's girlfriend, or the, you know, the husband's neighbor's sister's dog, or whatever else. And so I like the fact that you guys, you know, let the meaning be in the ear of the listener. That's pretty cool.
Oh, and that also, like, you know, the meaning evolves as times change. I mean, like I have songs I wrote when I was, like, 15 that, like, you know, well, one that I still remember, but, like, the meaning of that has changed, like throughout my life. Every time I go back to revisit, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I meant something like this, and maybe I meant this, but, like, you know, it's like, I believe songs are living things and should be reinterpreted, rethought of, and re-experienced.
See, this is really in relationship to our take on the theory of musical relativity. because, like, truthfully, what I mean, like you said, how many times have we all sung the wrong lyric, but it made perfect sense to us?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Like, there's a bathroom on the right.
It might not be PC-13 right now.
Yeah. One of my favorite ones was "There's a bathroom on the right."
Yeah.
This is, but you know what? You always find the bathrooms were on the right, though. So you kind of wonder, maybe he was singing that.
Yeah, but that's not NASCAR then.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's
they're
true.
turning away from the bathroom. They don't want to drive into the bathroom.
Oh.
It is on the right, and they're turning left.
Okay.
It's somewhere on there.
And now their song, California Goddamm.
With knives and the smiles of the meat and greens, where brand new wolves got same old teeth, same old teeth. A little water does a whole lot of drowning. The priest in the temple of accounting, by all accounts. Goddamn California, you can have it all. Consider that a warning. The night is young and the drink in your hand, and everybody knows that it's not fair. The big beaten black hot belly of the beast, when they'll be lining up the five for a triad piece, a triad piece. Mr. Midas got a real bad itch to get the golden shovel in a private ditch. Hey, that ain't life, a bitch. Goddamn California, have it all. Consider that a warning. The night is young and the drink in your hand, and everybody knows that it's California. Goddamn. With a little fish set in a big fish noise, I refuse to choose between words and a voice. Goddamn California, have it all. Consider that a warning. The night is young, the drink in your hand, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Goddamn California, have it all. Consider that a warning. The night is young, the drink in your hand, and everybody knows that it's California. Goddamn.
Okay, the song "Perfect Crime." That one I like that one a lot. Tell me about that one, because I've always wondered if I could create a perfect crime.
That actually was kind of a song about kind of the situations where, well, okay, the lyrics, it starts with the lyrics, I'm ready to be happy because it sounds a lot more fun than you waving around that pistol and me holding up this bomb. And it's like, I guess it's trying to describe that situation where, like, everything's volatile and everything's can either, like, be ultimately resolved or like ultimately destroyed, and it's kind of like one person's decision to kind of like take their finger off the button. On a very personal level, on a and see again like that kind of like the level at which would have to be interpreted by the listener, like but I guess like the point is there's no perfect crime, not a single one.
Cool. I can dig that. I like that.
Here's their song, Perfect Crime.
It sounds a lot more fun than you waving around that pistol and me holding up my bum. And I would like you to believe me, it is likely that you don't. You know, I'd like for you to stay a while, but it's likely that you won't. Getting boring, my morals all get gray. But in the interest of some innocence, I can change all the names. And now everybody's guilty and in lockdown doing time. I got a perfect private prison, I got me a perfect private crime. My reason and rhyme goes quiet at times like these, where it is hard on a heart that is falling apart at the seams. Outside the world is turning, some happy humans play, and there's no use being frightened, it happens every day. And the purpose is not power, the reason isn't right, but just like all in my arsenal, it's only really there to stop a fight. My reason and rhyme goes quiet at times like these, where it is hard on a heart that is falling apart at the seams. So there's one
Unenjoyment. Let's talk about that one.
Unenjoyment was initially written about a period in my life where I was unemployed for a long period of time, a couple of years, and it's really based in facing rejection. It's kind of what the sense of it is about. It's, no matter what, you have to continue to apply for job after job after job, because ultimately you have to work one way or another. And you could also say that it's kind of about footwork too. That, if I stop applying for job after job after job, I'm not going to get a damn thing.
Right.
When I wrote the lyrics before I wrote the music, the bass line, and when the bass line was something again that I was kind of sitting around the house, frustrated, pissed off, whatever, and I wrote the bass line, and my feelings came out in that, and I realized that it was about that spot in my life, and so the lyrics all came together with that bass line, and you kind of feel that when you're listening to that song. It's got a
kind of an urgency to it.
Yeah, it's got kind of a dark, stressed out kind of feel to it, and then in the end, it kind of builds and builds until it sort of busts.
And you get a job.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. The last change in it, the last chord progression that it goes through is a very bluesy kind of groovy sort of feel, almost a psychedelic kind of feel to it.
Yeah, it's very deep.
Thank you.
Do you still feel that whenever you play it? Do you still feel the raw emotions and everything that you'd put into it, or whenever you played, or whenever you listened back to it, that you did whenever you first created it?
Oh yeah. It's I've been accused of being a quite emotional person, and music's one of those things that's always kind of moved me, and the pieces that I've been fortunate enough to develop the skill to write take me back to that spot for sure.
See, I think that's good whenever musicians can put their emotions into their music, and a lot of times, especially when it comes out into the song and you reach your audience. If you can reach your audience and you can make them cry, or you can make them laugh, or you can make their ass move, then that's a good song. I mean, it really is, because you're controlling and helping, those people experience something that they may not have ever experienced before. And unemployment and going through a period of time in a life like that's very difficult. And so for the fact that you put that down in the terms of a song to release that out to the public, that's deep. I have to come up. I have to applaud you for that one.
Thank you very much. That's that when it comes down to it, empathy and identification are probably two of the strongest human emotions that we feel. And
I agree.
Those are the things that bond us together as human beings, no matter where we come from, where we live, what language we speak. Empathy and identification are the things that unify us all.
Yeah. The other two that I would probably say is love and hate, the equal and opposite reactions of each other. So. No, but if you ever get in a love-hate relationship, then, I don't know.
I don't know, Brian. I might want to differ on that, because love and hate, love for one thing that somebody else doesn't, or hate for something that somebody doesn't like, have a tendency to divide more often than unify.
Yeah, true.
Forgive me for the correction.
No, that's cool. That's cool. This is good.
Here's their song, Unenjoyment.
For every dime I lost, I could not count all the ways that you calculate the price instead of cost. And the white have seen the dirges in the early morning light. The candle of my conscience, can I throw a decent light?
other songs that you guys have on here, like Bible, Sister Sable, Empty Bottle, Formal Resignation.
That was kind of it's a song that really kind of like blossomed with the addition of like the Tim like to the group. It turned from like this kind of like this straight ahead kind of like punk kind of song to be kind of slowed, almost like a slower, almost tribal drum kind of like a big, like I found my ass moving, and I had to ask them, whoa, and quite like uncontrollably. It was uncontrollable ass shaking, and it was about like what is like pretty much like it's the most positive reaction I think we've had from what is essentially like a really kind of like a dark subject matter song of just of just quitting, just screw it, I quit, and which is like, you know, especially after talking about unemployment. I mean, it's like, but it's more about like it's more about just like kind of not taking anything anymore, just getting yourself out of the bad situation, and it's. I think that the thing about it was that it was like it kind of started like a really dark song, but with the addition of the drums, it actually kind of becomes a very uplifting song. So it really plays to the kind of like the opposites. It's like it's
like drawing a boundary and standing up for it and being done with the stuff that's causing you pain is the subject matter of the song. And then, you know, the drums are uplifting because it's like a triumph over that thing that you let bother you.
That's powerful. Now, I've always said that if you ever make a decision and you feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulders, then you made the right. Yep, you made the right decision.
That's right.
So cool. I think that's going to be people's theme songs for a lot of things coming up. It's Formal Resignation. That's going to be like whenever we went to Iraq and that song from "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" came out for me.
Oh.
I went to Iraq, and so I used to play that over and over and over again. So I could see that definitely being a good theme song to get people through the day and over their hurdles in a very positive way.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What are some future projects and sounds and stuff like that you guys are working on?
Well, we really want to get some recordings done, like some studio recordings done of the dual drum kind of thing. So we're going to assemble another EP and basically work on like our merchandise and slowly expanding our touring area, like north and east, and build up, find as many people as we can that like our music.
Yeah, the promotions thing and the marketing stuff is really kind of our next focus. And truthfully, you know, it's not like we have a lot of financial backing right now. To anybody out there that's listening, we're wide open to any kind of financial backing. Like to offer us, we'll take rubber ducks, we'll take Dixie cups. We're welcome to accept anything that you want to donate.
Nice. And cash is good too. If anybody wants to donate cash.
What happened to cash?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, right now would be a perfect time to mention that our songs, we have 6 of our songs for sale on Reverb Nation. Simply punch up Reverb Nation online and put in League of Liars with an S, and we have 6 songs there available for purchase, which would greatly help us promote the band and work into other areas where you may get to see our stuff live as well.
Yeah, cool. ReverbNation.com/League of Liars. You guys, all our fans and all your guys' fans need to get out there and check it out and download their music. It's phenomenal for listening to it. I think you'll really feel it, just like I have playing it. Also, you're also on Facebook. And
Yes.
What are some other websites and ways for people to be able to contact you?
You know what? Right now, Facebook is probably the prime contact point. Facebook or Reverb Nation. At this point, those are really the best ways to contact us. We are available for shows anywhere, pretty much in Southern California. We can do weekend trips out to Western Arizona, maybe even Nevada. Shoot us an idea, and we'll be more than glad to see what we can do. I think that we're couple of the guys have families and stuff, but they like to travel from time to time too.
Cool. Is there any? You said you're going to be traveling from around the West Coast to the East Coast. Any particular big places to where people can go and listen to you? Do you have anything planned out?
Right now, we currently are booking for the months of November and December, January and February. So we don't currently have anything scheduled anywhere other than in San Diego and Orange County.
Okay.
But we are wide open for booking.
Okay, cool. And they can reach you through Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook's the best bet. I'm on Facebook. That's Sppike Mike Muellenberg. That's me. I'm the / manager, sometimes called Bubba Falsario. And I'm the guy. If the easiest,
you are the guy.
The most
he
direct,
is the guy.
the most direct contact is our Gmail address, which would be leagueofliars@gmail.com.
Okay, leagueofliars@gmail.com. Awesome. All right, anything else you'd like to mention to our fans about your work or the band stuff that you're going through, or anything else in terms of sending you cash in order to help you get your music out there?
Well, if you promise to send us some cash, we promise to care for your firstborn until they're 2 years old. We babysit. We mow lawns.
Dude, Potsy gives a wicked back rub.
Nice.
Yeah, and Dave's a soccer coach, and he can teach your child to do that headbutt thing.
All for cash donation. I mean, we're absolute horse.
Yeah, I've got a Harley, and I'll give any of the men or women rides on it at any time of day or night.
Dude, you never give me a ride in your Harley.
We absolutely we do bar mitzvahs and weddings, and we play only our music at those, so you don't have a choice.
But we are actually that was actually our first cover song, the Hana Gala.
Was it?
I'll step in for the father.
Totally. Like we're actually gonna work on a roving stage show with costumes and like ringleader jackets, kind of like Sergeant Pepper's, but like more with a cake twist.
Yeah, I've got some new technology coming out where my face changes from politician to politician as the songs go by.
My cat can eat a whole watermelon.
Oh man, you guys are. That's hilarious. My cheeks are hurting. I'm over here laughing so much about it. Okay, so we got a change of watermelon. I mean, no, a change of politicians. Eating watermelons, can babysit your kids, teach them soccer, rides on Harleys, just all kinds of cool stuff. That, pardon the pun, but that freaking rocks. That's awesome.
At some point, Brian, we do intend on doing a tribute to the Tubes with all of the audience being nude as we play.
And they danced like a wave on the ocean. Oh, man. No, that's the Hooters. I'm sorry. That totally sucks.
Oh, man.
You lost respect to me, didn't you? Is that what your face is doing right now?
Yeah.
Michael's cringing as I hold my bass guitar over my head and downward punch.
Oh, man.
I had a nickel.
Not a back. Oh,
no. All right, well, cool. Hey, guys, I really do appreciate you being on the Bradshaw Chronicles, the Friday edition with us. It's the League of Liars we have tonight with us with the awesome Michael Fairchild and Sppike, Mike Muellenberg.
Sppike Mike Muellenberg. It's pronounced with one P. I put two because there's
it's Latin.
It's Latin? Okay, the first P silent?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you guys, I really do appreciate you being on here. You've been a blast. All the people out there that's listening to this video documentary of the League of Liars, make sure you check them out on Facebook. Make sure you check them out on Reverb Nation. Download their songs. Do whatever you can to help promote this band out, because I guarantee you're going to start hearing them on the radio stations if you haven't already. They've got a really great tune that they're coming up with, that they're playing. Their songs are just, they rock on for what they play. The dual drum set that they have on there is phenomenal. You don't hear that in most bands, and the sounds that is created by that is top notch. So everybody get out there, download the music, check them out on Facebook, The League of Liars. Thank you so much, Michael Fairchild and Mike Muellenberg, for being here with us tonight. Seriously, you guys rock.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian, you rock too, man.
Cool.
Seriously,
Thank
Brian,
you.
rock.
From our musical guest, League of Liars, here's their video, California Goddamm.
Knives and the smiles of the meet and greet, where brand new wolves got same old teeth, same old teeth. A little water does a whole lot of drowning. The priest in the temple of accounting, by all accounts. Goddamn California, you have it all. Consider that a warning. The night is young and the drink in your hand, and everybody knows that it's not fair. The big beaten black hot belly of the beast, when they'll be lining up the five for a triad apiece, a triad apiece. Mr. Midas got a real bad itch to get the golden shovel in a private ditch. Hey, that ain't like a bitch. Goddamn California, have it all. Consider that a warning. The night is young and the drink in your hand, and everybody knows that it's California. Goddamn. With a little fish set in a big fish noise, I refuse to choose between words and a voice. Goddamn California, have it all. Consider that a warning. The night is young, the drink in your hand, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that it's goddamn California. Have it all. Consider that a warning. The night is young, the drink in your hand, and everybody knows that it's California. Goddamn.
Explain it? What we can explain is like a grain of sand in the Sahara of the unexplainable. El amor de Dios.
And now, a word from our sponsors. At Taylor Gifts, we do customized monogramming and embroidery. We can monogram anything from a simple one name on a bib for a baby to a customized logo on a company shirt. We can make gifts for your wedding entourage and gifts for your friends. Label your children's items for school and put names on jerseys for sports. If you have items of your own you want them monogrammed and embroidered, we can do that. Tailor Gifts are sewn with high-quality thread on a professional embroidery machine. So go to the website www.tailorgifts.net, call 251-391-4354, Email sales@taylorgist.net. Visit us at ETSY and Facebook us. We are ready for your orders. The Ghost Tales Television Network, GTN. GTN is designed to give the paranormal TV and filmmaking community the opportunity to showcase their talents and creations. If you believe you have what it takes to create your very own TV show and or short film and you would like the opportunity to showcase your creations, you may contact us at ghosttellstv@gmail.com or call 901-377-7166 for more details. Make sure you visit ghosttellstv.com. GTN, America's Paranormal Superstation.
Thousand and one spiraling thoughts all around your head, round and around, concerning the past you silently twinkle your dreams. 'Cause when the dark has a light, has a dark has a light, there's a light that's guiding you. It's guiding you. Been a long time. Back home, now wait by my throne, face your shadow self, embrace and be one.
Thank you for listening to the Friday edition. I am your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Until then, love and light.